On March 24th, 1991, at approximately 12:30 in the afternoon, a 4-year-old boy named Michael Wayne Dunahee disappeared from a school playground in Victoria, British Columbia. He disappeared in broad daylight, while approximately 50 people were present in the immediate area, and he disappeared within meters of his parents, and not one of those people saw it happen. 35 years later, Michael Dunahee has never been found. His disappearance remains one of the largest unsolved missing child investigations in Canadian history. More than 11,000 tips have been received by police. A $100,000 reward still stands. A detective is still assigned to the case. And the question that Victoria, British Columbia has been living with since that day in 1991 has never been answered. What happened to Michael Dunahee? This is the Midnight Mystery Archive and part 1 of the disappearance of Michael Dunahee. Michael Wayne Dunahee was born on May 12, 1986, to Crystal and Bruce Dunahee in Victoria, British Columbia. He was 4 years old when he disappeared. 4. And already, by every account, quite a personality. He was blonde-haired and blue-eyed with freckles beginning to appear across his nose. He was a happy and energetic child, physically outgoing in the way that 4-year-olds who feel safe in the world tend to be. He had a baby sister, Caitlin, who was too young at the time of his disappearance to remember him as anything other than what she was told and what she found in photographs. Victoria in 1991 was the type of city where families went to playgrounds on Sunday afternoons. A small city by Canadian standards, roughly 70,000 people in the city proper, more in the greater metro area. It was known for its mild climate and its British character, its harbor views and its relative quiet. It was not a city accustomed to the idea that a child could vanish from a public park in the middle of the afternoon while his parents were nearby. That is important context for what happened on March 24th. Not because Victoria was uniquely safe, nowhere is, but because the shock of what occurred on that day was not just the loss of one child. It was the rupture of an assumption. Many Victoria residents would later describe that day as a loss of innocence for their city, a before and after moment. On the morning of Sunday, March 24th, 1991, the Dunahee family drove to Blanchard Elementary School. Crystal had a women's flag football game Bruce was coming to watch, and they brought Michael and Caitlin. The school grounds were active that afternoon. Families, spectators, players, approximately 50 people in and around the area when the Dunahees arrived. It was the kind of public populated setting that parents instinctively associate with safety. Adults everywhere, eyes everywhere. Michael asked if he could go to the playground. It was close by, just a short distance from where his parents would be. Crystal said yes, like most parents would. She told him to wait at the playground until his father came to get him. Crystal has said in interviews that she had a nagging feeling that something wasn't quite right that day. Not a specific fear, not a reason she could name, just a feeling. And as a parent, I think many of us have had those types of feelings, but she let them go anyways, as we often do. It was a decision that would stay with her for the rest of her life. When Bruce walked to the playground a short time later, minutes, it was not long, Michael was gone. He searched the immediate area. He looked around the grounds. There was no sign of Michael anywhere. And as parents would tell you in that moment, panic sets in. There were roughly 50 people who began searching within a matter of minutes of the alarm being raised. The Victoria Police Department was called immediately. Police, to their credit, arrived quickly. But in this case, quickly was not quickly enough. By the time investigators were on the scene, Michael was already gone. And in the 35 years since, no one has been able to determine how he left, who he left with, and where he went. The detail that makes Michael's disappearance particularly difficult to process is the one that repeats in every account. Not a single person saw what happened. There were 50 people in a public park on a Sunday afternoon, and a 4-year-old child was purely enjoying their time, and nobody saw anything. No one saw him leave. No one saw him approach a vehicle, be approached by a person, or move in any direction away from the playground. No one heard anything unusual. The crowd that was supposed to make the playground safe became instead the most challenging and bewildering aspect of this case, because not one of those people could tell investigators anything. Police immediately classified the disappearance as an abduction rather than a missing child. The reasoning was straightforward. Michael was a 4-year-old who had been told to stay at the playground and wait for his father. He had no reason to wander. He had nowhere to go. The speed and silence of his disappearance in a populated public space was not consistent with a child who had simply walked away. That classification shaped everything that followed. This was not a search. It was an investigation. And the investigation, from its first hours, was operating completely in the dark. The response to Michael's disappearance was immediate and massive by any measure, especially for 1991. Every available detective from the Victoria Police Department was called in. Search teams fanned out across the area. Hundreds of volunteers joined the search by the next day. Helicopters equipped with heat-seeking technology were deployed. Multiple law enforcement agencies participated, including the Royal Canadian Mounted Police and eventually even the FBI. The investigation became and remains, to this day, one of the largest missing child investigations in Canadian history. And yet, in those first critical hours, the investigation had almost nothing to work with. Tips began arriving within hours, hundreds every hour in the initial days following Michael's disappearance. In 1991, that meant officers writing information on carbon copy paper, sorting tips by hand, managing a volume of incoming information that no system of that era was built to handle at that speed. Victoria Police have since acknowledged that if modern technology had been available, like video surveillance, computerized tip management, perhaps advanced DNA analysis, the case may have been solved in those first days. But it was 1991, and it wasn't. The one physical lead investigators had was thin but extremely specific. A witness did report seeing a man in his late 40s or early 50s near the playground around the time Michael disappeared. The man was associated with a brown van. A month after Michael's disappearance, police staged a reenactment at Blanchard Elementary using a similar brown van, hoping to jog the memories of people who had been in that area on that day. The reenactment produced no new leads. The man with the brown van was never identified. Whether he was connected to Michael's disappearance or was simply a person who happened to be in the area that afternoon has never been established. He remains the only physical lead the investigation has ever had. By the time the case reached its 30th anniversary in 2021, more than 10,000 tips had been received and investigated by police. By 2026, that number had grown past 11,000. Each of those tips represented a person who thought they might have seen something, known something, or remembered something. Each one was investigated. Each one, so far, has led nowhere. The case appeared on America's Most Wanted 5 separate times. Michael's photograph was distributed across North America on missing persons posters. His face became one of the most recognized faces in the history of Canadian missing children cases. And still, nothing. In 2006, a man living in the interior of British Columbia was reported to strongly resemble Michael. DNA testing confirmed he was not Michael. In 2009, police in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, discovered a missing person poster of Michael at the home of Vernon Seitz, a man who had confessed to his psychiatrist that he had killed a child in 1959. Seitz died before investigators could establish any definitive connection to Michael's case. In fact, Vernon Seitz was at various points linked to other missing children, including Jacob Wetterling in Minnesota. In 2011, another man resembling Michael turned up in Chase, British Columbia. DNA confirmed again that he was not Michael. In 2013, a post on a Vancouver Canucks fan forum led police to a man in Surrey. DNA confirmed he was not Michael. Each of those leads were real enough to pursue, and each of them closed without an answer. 35 years without a confirmed answer is a long time. But there is something about Michael's case that separates it from cold cases where the trail just simply went cold. There is no confirmed evidence of Michael's death. No remains, no crime scene, no physical evidence of any kind linking the playground at Blanchard Elementary to what happened next. The investigation classified his disappearance as an abduction from its first hours, and that classification has never been formally changed. What that means, practically speaking, is that two possible explanations remain on the table. The first is that Michael was abducted and killed, and that neither his remains nor any physical evidence has ever been found or connected to the case. The second is that Michael was taken and raised by someone else, that he has been alive for 35 years, possibly without knowing his real identity, possibly without knowing that the family that he was taken from loved him more than anything and have spent their entire lives looking for him. Crystal Dunahee has submitted her DNA to national databases. If Michael ever searches for his biological family through a genealogy database, there is a path to finding her. Victoria Police stated in 2025 that all it could take is just one person to bring Michael home. That statement was not a platitude. It was a description of how these cases get resolved after so long. Not through a forensic breakthrough, but through someone who knows something deciding finally to say it. Michael Dunahee was 4 years old. He weighed approximately 40 pounds. He was wearing a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles t-shirt, dark track pants, and white sneakers. Today, he would be 39 years old. In part 2, we'll look at what happened in detail after that day in March 1991. The leads that raised and then dashed hope, the technological advances that may still matter, the one case linked change that has protected thousands of other children in the years since, and what it means that this case is still open. If you have information about Michael Dunahee's disappearance, contact the Victoria Police Department's dedicated tip line at 250-995-7444. You can also submit a tip online at vicpd.ca/Michael Dunahee tips. The Midnight Mystery Archive is now on Patreon. 3 tiers, starting at $5 a month, a simple cup of coffee, which gives you early access to episodes, special content, and the knowledge that the work of this podcast will continue. The link is in the show notes. The time is approaching, July 27, 2026, and the launch of my novel, Echo 1953, Book 1 of the Hollis Files Mystery Series. It is available for pre-order on Amazon now, and a link is in the show notes. July 14th, mark the day. The Halls of Mediocrity, the newest show on the Archive Podcast Network, will be launching. We title it Second String Stats and First Degree Stories. That'll give you a hint of what we'll be talking about: sports and crime. Find it wherever you get your podcasts. There are trailers out now. Episode 1, July 14th, we will be talking about the infamous 2005 Minnesota Vikings Love Boat scandal. This has been the Midnight Mystery Archive. I appreciate you listening as always, and we'll see you next time.